How can you tell if someone really loves to travel? They book a Disney cruise for their birthday without having any kids. That's what I decided to do this year, and I'm going to share the 10 best and 10 worst things about cruising on the Disney Wish. Hi friends, I'm your host Laura Poe, and I'm excited to share my experience cruising with Disney for the first time. There are a ton of great videos out there that show all the details of the ship, but this one is going to focus on experiential elements that could make or break your next Disney cruise. We're going to jump around a little bit, so this won't be in chronological order, but I hope it gives you a good idea of what to expect and maybe how to plan your ideal cruise experience. Okay, so let's get to the list. Starting off our best list is the arrival process. Disney's newest ship, the Wish, is currently sailing 2 itineraries, a 3-night and a 4-night, both to the Bahamas out of Port Canaveral on Florida's East Coast. Since we live in Central Florida, it's just a 50-minute drive from Orlando to luggage drop-off. I know, it's not fair. Like some of our other favorite cruise lines, Disney has their own terminal, which has elements that really reminded me of some of their theme parks. We waited in a line for the luggage drop-off, which was very organized. They had several people helping to direct cars to the luggage porters, as well as staff that were helping people to cross the street from the parking garage to the terminal. The luggage drop-off was quick and seamless, and we tried to get a shot of it, but it ended up looking like we brought our luggage in garbage bags. Our boarding group was in the 20s, so by the time we arrived to the port, they were allowing all groups to board. If your arrival time is any time after about 12:30, you'll probably be able to walk right on after you get through security. If you do end up waiting in a terminal, there's plenty of seating and areas to take photos. Just a few steps through the mouse ears and your Disney cruise experience is underway. Okay, so number 1 on my worst list is not letting people in their rooms until a certain time. While Disney isn't the only cruise line that opens their rooms a few hours after initial boarding, they are the only ones I've experienced that have not let us drop off our carry-on bags so we could roam the ship freely before officially opening the cabins. Pro tip, plan your carry-on bags according to your arrival time, because you may be stuck with it for a while. I wish I brought something with wheels because my backpack got pretty heavy. Some cruise lines have adopted a process that allows you to head straight to your room as soon as you board. Disney didn't allow anyone to their cabins until a little after 2 p.m. While it wasn't a big deal to have our backpacks with us, the later time caused a huge line of people waiting outside near the elevators and up onto the staircases starting around 1:45. And forcing a rush of people into a confined space seems like an avoidable dissatisfier. Next on my list of great things was the service, and it begins immediately. When we stepped onto the ship, a cast member was there to greet each guest and announce them over the speaker to welcome them. Although I had seen this on other people's videos, it was a magical touch that made me feel very special. The crew members at the Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge also created some very special cocktail experiences for everyone that came in. We didn't see any basic drinks served the entire time we were there. We had dinner on our first night at one of the specialty restaurants, Enchanté, which is accessed through the Rose Lounge, which is Beauty and the Beast themed. The restaurant had small touches of Lumiere throughout, but the setting definitely felt like a high-end dining and not overly themed. Our server Gian and our sommelier Robert took excellent care of us, and every recommendation they made was literally perfect. This was one of my top dining experiences ever, on land or on a ship. We had the same experience at Palo with our server Silvio on the last night of the cruise. He took such great care of us and made the evening extra special to keep my birthday celebration going. Our rotational dining head server Caesar was extremely friendly and accommodating as well. All of the crew members we encountered were very friendly and went out of their way to make our experience the best it could be. And I have to say, it's pretty cool to get a Disney character printed on your coffee. The next thing we found challenging was the adults-only areas. I know, that probably sounds shocking because we're 2 adults cruising on Disney without children, but hear me out. The Cove on Deck 13 Aft is a private 18-plus area with its own infinity pool, bar, and coffee shop. While the coffee shop had a wide variety of options from all over the world, as well as different brewing styles, it didn't feel like you could spend much time there. We saw the same person working alone there every day, so sometimes there was a little bit of a wait. The pool bar didn't feel like anything special, and there's no food to be found anywhere in the cove. Other cruise lines serve light bites and create more of a retreat in this space where you can hang out and relax for a couple of hours. The reality is people get hungry when they're outside, in the pool, and especially if they're drinking, so this is a missed opportunity for Disney. The infinity pool is nice, but it feels pretty crowded when there's any more than 10 people in it. They have a huge built-in bench in the back that you awkwardly slide into, but I've never really felt like this style of pool lounger was very comfortable. We just kept floating up to the surface, knees first. The waterfall seats on each side of the pool have ankle-deep water, and we never saw anyone sitting in there either. It felt like this space would be better if it was another pool or maybe even a hot tub. Our experience at Castaway Cay was similar. Serenity Bay, which is an adults-only area, fell a little short of our expectations. The barbecue food options were limited, and the experience of getting the food left a lot to be desired. Once you're in front of the grill waiting for your burger, you're flooded with greasy smoke to the face. The seating area was picnic tables, and while we did find a spot in the shade, it just didn't feel like an experience geared towards adults. Some of our favorite parts of the ship were the lounges. The experience in the Hyperspace Lounge lived up to all the hype. The creative drinks were delicious, and the best part was that they brought us snacks to go with them. While they don't have a food menu, they were willing to give us seconds of the small cup of assorted treats. In true Disney fashion, they've created an immersive world that really makes you feel like you're on a transporter in space, traveling at light speed between galaxies. The experience in the Hyperspace Lounge will make you forget what planet you're on until you walk through the exit and re-enter the real world. The Bayou is another great lounge between the shops and the Hyperspace Lounge area. Although they didn't serve snacks, I'm really talking a lot about snacks here. They did have live music, which was a nice surprise. We also got to spend some time in the Rose Lounge, which is Beauty and the Beast themed. The drinks had a rose in the ice, and you guessed it, they served snacks. Pro tip, if you're looking for a quiet place to enjoy the sail away, the Rose is a perfect spot. The floor-to-ceiling windows offer great views as the ship heads out to sea. Keg and Compass is another great lounge that features nautical Celtic theming and snacks. They serve tasty pretzel chips to accompany your beverage of choice. This was a very nice touch and a first that we've seen in a bar or lounge on a cruise ship. Next on the worst list is The Little Mermaid. I know, I feel bad saying that. Though we love the movies, the translation to stage performance just did not work. Many of the characters are puppets and they're being manipulated by the cast of talented actors. Despite their efforts, it was still challenging to stay engaged with the show, and it all just felt chaotic with so many people running around on the stage. We weren't allowed to film inside the theater, but several families agreed with our sentiments and said the Disney character show and the Aladdin production were much better. Okay, so one thing that was really impressive was how Disney does their ship celebrations, such as the Sail Away Party and the Pirate Night show. The Sail Away Party packs the top of the ship, and it seemed like everyone was there to celebrate the beginning of the cruise. Everyone is so engaged, and the kids love it. The Pirate Show and fireworks is a big event on board that nobody wants to miss. I mean, fireworks at sea? As a dog owner, this is the only place I will support fireworks. It was awesome to see not only the show, but also how much families on board were enjoying it. Disney, what is up with the elevators? There is no explanation for what they've done with the elevators on Wish. I've heard so many people complain about how the buttons are too sensitive, but that didn't even matter to me. Not only did they make the elevators narrower than I have ever seen, but they only have 2 sets on the whole ship, and both of them are essentially in the midship-ish area. And possibly the worst thing about the elevators is that different ones access different floors, but there's no way to call the elevator that you need to get to the floor that you want. Up means up for the whole bank of elevators, so if the one you want isn't the first available, you could be stuck waiting for a while. The limited elevators and the different floors created havoc during part of our trip, but I'll talk about that later. If you can, plan on taking the stairs during your cruise. The spaces for kids on the Disney Wish are absolutely amazing. Even if you don't have children, it's easy to see how much fun these immersive hangout spots can be. Starting from the check-in when families get to board, kids ages 3 to 12 can take the slide down to the Oceaneers Club where they can become Imagineers, play interactive games, and take a test drive in the ride studio. The Edge is geared for tweens ages 11 to 14. It features interactive gaming, daily activities, and lounge areas just for hanging out. Vibe is a creative space for teens ages 14 to 17, and it's a great space for watching movies, playing games, or meeting new friends on the cruise. There are daily activities curated especially for teens, so this is a go-to spot for them. The Hero Zone is not only just for kids, it's an amazing place to go if you want to play basketball, ping pong, or participate in physical challenges like game show style activities. The Aqua Mouse was amazing as we ascended the magical tunnel, which teleported us to a whimsical ride around the top deck with incredible views of the ship and the sea, is what I would have probably said, except the Aqua Mouse was undergoing maintenance during our entire cruise. This was so disappointing because we were looking forward to the first ever Disney attraction at sea. I know this may be unique to us, but without that ride, there's not really that much to do in the pool areas. This puts Aqua Mouse, or lack thereof, on my worst list. If you're enjoying this video, please hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell so you can be the first to know when new content drops. Number 6 on my best list is the Magic Band Plus, but it's also number 6 on my worst. The Disney Magic Band, which rolled out to theme parks and hotels around 2013, have recently added a Disney cruise ship to their capabilities. In the Star Wars Hyperspace Lounge, the bands alert you by vibrating and glowing different colors. According to our server, red means an Imperial ship is passing by, green means a Rebellion ship, and blue is for when the jump to hyperspace occurs, roughly every 7 minutes. I just yelled good guys or bad guys because I'm not a huge Star Wars person though. The bands are super convenient for getting in your room without having to remember to take your key to the world card. But the card is still necessary to activate your room lighting, as well as scanning to get on and off the ship. During the pirate show, the bands were interactively timed to the music and fireworks, which was a really cool addition to the experience that I was not expecting. Okay, I said the bands are on my worst list too, and here's why. It doesn't feel like they've gotten the crew on the Wish fully comfortable with the idea of using the bands yet. I only saw one person who had a handheld device to scan the band. Everyone else asked us to take it off and hand it to them to charge for a beverage or a specialty dinner. Because the band is basically like a watch, it's odd that the crew would ask you to remove it every time you make a transaction. A few times they didn't give us the band back with the bill and we left it behind and had to double back when we realized we didn't have it. Disney has to give the crew handheld devices in order to make this implementation work. The bands also need to be charged, which is different from an RFID bracelet. To be fair, the band interactivity is pretty cool, so it's worth remembering to keep it charged. Our Castaway Excursion was so much fun. We chose the Walking and Kayak Nature Adventure Tour, which started with a tram ride to the adults-only area at Serenity Bay, and then a 30-minute walk to the kayak landing. On the way, our guide decided to pull a land crab out of the bushes and let us take turns holding it. My husband is braver than I am.
It's my new friend.
After that, we came to a beach, which was the setting for the 1984 Disney movie Splash. And parts of Pirates of the Caribbean were also filmed at that location too. As someone who used to kayak for work, I was excited to experience it in such a remote setting. If you'd like to see my kayak adventure in Mallorca, Spain, click the link in the description below. We got our life belts on and chose our kayaks and we're on our way. The water was so clear. We could see all the way to the bottom the whole time we were kayaking. This allowed us to spot some fish and even some sea turtles. We got to a small cove where our guide let us hold starfish while he located some conch shells. Little did we know, things were about to get wilder. He proceeded to make a hole in one of the shells, extract the conch out, and clean it right in front of us on the beach. I've never been a fan of seafood, but even I had to give it a try. Getting a bill to sign after each transaction felt so outdated, especially when I'm wearing a magic band. I expected that because our tips would be calculated and billed to us at the end, there would be no need for a formal receipt to sign. Which brings me to part 2, tip confusion. This one made the worst list based on feedback we heard from other guests on the ship. Many cruise lines offer packages that include tips in the total price of the cruise. Disney opts for billing a daily tip amount at the end of your cruise or prepaid before the cruise. Where it gets confusing is that small envelopes were dropped off in our room to leave tips for our wait staff. This feels a little bit like triple tipping because I'm tipping on each transaction, I'm leaving cash in the envelope, and I'm getting billed at the end. While you may be like us and try to be as generous as possible with all crew members, it can be confusing to know what's included and what isn't. Next on our best list is the room. We chose a deluxe ocean view stateroom with veranda. This cabin gave us plenty of space to store our belongings, suitcases, and ample closet space to hang up our clothes. The split bathroom is so nice to have, especially for getting ready at the same time. The nightlight in the bathroom is also a really nice touch, and it makes it very easy to find your way in the dark. The fridge door was a decent size and can fit a variety of beverages. And the balcony has a small step down, which makes it nice because the railing doesn't obstruct the ocean view. I've already talked about the elevators, which contributes to the issues with our next worst, the ship layout. When it comes to finding your way around the ship, the placement of the elevators and the stairs makes it challenging to locate certain areas. There's no easy way to get to the cove without walking almost half the length of the ship. Some of the restaurants block off the main floors, which would traditionally act as pass-throughs on other cruise lines. In short, without having elevators or stairs on the true aft or forward areas of the ship, navigation does not seem intuitive. We were impressed with the Disney Cruise app. Though we had pre-booked our specialty dining and excursions beforehand, we still used the app to find show schedules, dining hours, and information about the spaces we hadn't seen yet. Compared to some other cruise line apps, this one felt very thorough and reliable. Next on the worst list is food options on Embarkation Day. We got on the ship right at lunchtime, so understandably the only restaurant, Arendelle, was full. This left the Marceline Market as our only option for grabbing lunch, but after exploring a couple lounges, both Marceline and Arendelle were closed. Pro tip, try to get on the ship and head straight to Arendelle as soon as you can, because you can't get into your room until 2 p.m. anyway. This is a great way to kill some time and hold you off until dinner. Speaking of dinner, the absolute best thing about this cruise was the food. Ashante was incredible, definitely one of the best meals I've ever had. Since it was my birthday, they found small ways to make the evening extra special for us. Paolo was just as good, and our server Silvio was amazing. We also got to eat at 1923 for both breakfast and dinner, and both meals were excellent. The Marceline Market also did not disappoint, despite it being more buffet-style food. Everything we tried, we loved. Okay, so this brings us to our final worst thing about this cruise, and it was really bad. The muster drill took us back in time to the days where people would huddle with their life jackets outside and wait for the speech, the horns to blow, and then get released all at once back inside. I thought the cruise industry had done away with these archaic practices, but there we were being shuffled into the packed Marvel restaurant. While we did not have to bring our life jackets, it was standing room only, and we were led through some backstage spaces that guests typically don't see. Once we were all there in what looked a little like a morgue with all the white sheets covering the tables, a crew member made a short 1-minute speech. We watched a 2 to 3 minute video, and that was it. Doesn't sound too bad, right? Well, the large crowd emptying into the elevator and stairwell area, combined with the issues I addressed earlier with the elevators themselves, made for a very frustrating experience. It actually felt a little unsafe to have all those people in one area all at once, especially after years of putting processes in place to avoid exactly that. Other cruise lines have adjusted their muster drill experience to be as painless as possible for guests, so Disney continuing with their traditional process feels outdated and a little out of touch at this point. This was not a great way to start our trip and left a little bit of a sour taste for a brand that's synonymous with innovation, customer experience, and safety. To be fair, I did put this feedback in my post-cruise survey, and our experience only went up from there. What do you think? Did I miss anything? Were there some things on my list that surprised you? Leave me a comment below about what you love or didn't love about the Disney Wish, or cruises in general. Are you ready to book your next vacation? I have some amazing deals I'd love to share with you. Drop us a line at curatedbylaurapoe.com. The experience in the Hyperspace Lounge lived up to all the hype. That was dumb.
You have to give me like a maybe don't even do it.
No, because I'm stupid.
There you go.